right? Okay, so again, I'm Christine Daal from Fashion Angel Warrior. Tonight we are going to discuss what the word launch really means anyway. People are always throwing around this term. When should I launch? What's the difference between a soft launch and a real launch? So we are going to dive deep into that tonight. So also don't forget to share this video with all of your fashionpreneurs so that they can watch it and learn all of this great information. Don't forget to give me your hearts, give me your thumbs up. I love it. It's like oxygen to me. Your comments are so great. So glad you could finally join too, Eleanor. Glad to have you on. Yes. Emanuela, yay. Hi, how are you? So good to see so many people on. If you have any questions, let me know as we go along, okay? Also, I'm gonna give you a little cheat sheet that you can download, so stay tuned for that. Okay. So one of the biggest mistakes I see a lot of newbie designers make is not properly preparing for their launch or launching way too soon, okay? You definitely don't want to launch too soon because it's going to equal fewer sales. It's way better to properly prepare and do a launch the right way. It will equal a ton of sales for you and motivation and really get the momentum going in your business, which is super, super important to keep you motivated, which we talked about in our How to Get Your Mojo Back Facebook Live, okay? So you can go back and watch that one if you missed it. But to give you an example, when I first sold my line, I sold it to a retail store. The first retail store we sold it to, we sold out in 2 weeks, and I went on to sell over 100 pieces of one style within a month. So, and I technically didn't even do what I'm about to share with all of you. I technically didn't even follow all of my own advice and do a launch properly, and I still had that much success. So you want to have the same amount of success right out of the gate. You don't want to launch your website and have no sales and hear crickets, okay? You want to launch your e-commerce website and have sales coming in like nonstop so that when you wake up in the morning, you've got emails coming in that say sale, 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 right? You don't want to wake up in the morning to an empty email box, okay? So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. And another good example is the iPhone, right? When the iPhone 4 launched, they literally sold 1.7 million units within 3 days, okay? That's what we want for your business, okay? So let's talk about this. When have you really launched? Some people are saying, is it when your website is up? Is it when you've started selling to stores? You know, we're gonna talk about the important factors to consider before actually launching, and then also the difference between a soft launch and a real launch and all of that great stuff. So, in my opinion, my professional opinion, a real launch means you have all of the below ready to go. And I've made a really great before you launch cheat sheet for all of you, okay, that you can grab by going to fashionangelwarrior.com/launch, okay? It's fashionangelwarrior.com/launch. If you're on Facebook, it's in the bio. On Instagram, fashionangelwarrior.com/launch. You can download the checklist, okay? So after the call, you can go there and do that. So number one, all of your samples should be fitted, perfected, and tested. Meaning you've worn them, you've washed them a million times, you've tested them out to make sure nothing crazy is going to happen when people buy this and start wearing it, okay? That's number one. You're not ready to launch if your samples are not at this stage, okay? If you're still making changes to your samples or you're not 100% satisfied with them, do not launch, okay? You're better off waiting and launching later on. Number two, you should also have all of your fabrics and trims completely finalized and everything confirmed that it's in stock and available for you to order. If it's not in stock or not available for you to order, you need to find out how long is it going to take to reorder or how much do you need to reorder in order to acquire that fabric or trim, okay? And if you can't get that fabric or trim or you can't meet those minimums for whatever reason, start thinking about now either dropping that style or switching the fabric or finding another vendor. You need to do something before you launch, okay? You don't want to launch with a style that you can't even get the fabric for. Hi Sharona, how are you? Nice to see you on. Okay, number three, your website needs to be ready to go, complete with a shop page, your size chart, refund and shipping policy, social media, blog, all of that stuff. And if you need help with your website, download our free e-commerce checklist right on our website, fashionangelwarrior.com. It's in the pop-up box. you can download that to make sure that you have everything ready to go for your website, okay? So all of that needs to be ready to go and ready to launch the day that you launch, okay? Number 4, your photo shoot and video shoots, all the photos and all the videos that you did, those all need to be edited. They all need to be complete. Everything needs to be ready to go up on your website and ready to post on social media and all that stuff. Number 5, you need to have a decent following on social media showing that there's a need and or desire for the product that you're launching. So I don't like to throw out numbers because I don't believe that your social media needs to be at a certain number per se of followers, because it's really more about the engagement. You could have a smaller following of 1,000 people, but all of them are truly, truly engaged in what it is you have to offer and they love your product. Or you could have a following of 50,000 and nobody cares because you bought the followers and half of them are fake, right? So I'd rather have you have that engaged following. And you can tell by the number of people that are commenting, the number of people that are going back to your website, all of that sort of thing. So I don't like to give a number, but I do like to say that you should have a decent following. You don't want to have probably 500 people. That's probably not enough, right? Anywhere between 1,000 to 5,000 would be a good amount to start with. You're also going to need a decent email list that you've been nurturing, this is key, that you've been nurturing for at least 6 months, okay? So you should have had a pop-up box on your landing page of your website, even though your website is not launched yet. You should have had a pop-up box, an email box that people can subscribe to your newsletter, and you should have been sending out newsletters for at least 6 months, keeping people engaged, building the suspense, getting things going, building your following, etc. before you launch, okay? If you haven't sent out one email, you don't want to launch, in my opinion. I'd rather have you wait, start nurturing that email list, start growing that email list, and really getting it to the point where people are dying to have your product, okay? That's how you're gonna make day 1 of your launch a huge, huge success. Okay, then you also want to be ready to take your orders and collect payment. So however you're collecting payment, if it's on your website, if you plan to do a lot of pop-up shops, you need to have the square ready, or however you're gonna collect payments, all of that needs to be ready to go. You don't wanna have people waiting to buy your stuff and you can't actually have them pay for it, okay? That's like the worst thing in the world. Hi Luma, how are you? Nice to see you on. Hi Jareen. Good to see so many of you on. Hey Jeremy. Next, you wanna have your cost sheets finalized with your pricing and your shipping all set and ready to go, okay? You shouldn't be thinking about, well, how much should I be pricing this at? And should I make this $150 or $200? Like, all of that needs to be figured out and ready to go before you launch, okay? And again, this checklist is available. If you go to fashionangelwarrior.com/launch, you'll be able to download the checklist for free. So it's my little gift to all of you, okay? Next, you wanna have your finances secured for production, or at least a strategy in place to collect the finances, okay? Production is going to cost money. If you don't have that money already set aside to do your own production, you need to think of a way to come up with that money in order to produce. Now, if you're selling to boutiques and they're small boutiques, most of the time you can get a 50% deposit. That can help you fund your production. If you're doing pre-sales, that can help you fund your production. If you're doing crowdfunding, that can help you fund your production. So there's many ways to do that, to fund your production. Just have the strategy in place and know what you're doing. You don't want to take a bunch of orders and then not be able to fulfill them. That would be the worst thing ever, okay? All right, next, you want to have your manufacturers lined up and be sure that you have a backup factory, okay? You might have factory A that you absolutely love and their work is so great and the prices are awesome, but if they're too busy around the time that you're ready to do your production, you want to have factory B as a backup, okay? The worst thing you can do is ship late to your consumers or to your stores. You definitely don't want to fall into that trap. So make sure you have all of your manufacturing set up and ready to go and you've got backup, which also leads to make sure you have your deliveries set. So if you are doing pre-orders or you are pitching to buyers, you're going to need to know your delivery dates. And that will depend on how fast you can get your production. And like I always say, please, please, please allot at least 4 to 5, if not 6 months for your production. I know it sounds like way too much time, but you're going to need it, trust me. It doesn't take 4 to 5 months to actually sew your samples, but to get everything in place that you need in order to start your production and be able to do the production, it will take 4 to 5, possibly even 6 months, depending on where everything is, how many steps are involved, how complicated it is, etc. And if you want more information on that, we have an entire online course called Production Like a Pro that goes into detail on all of that stuff, and you can order that online. Okay, are you guys liking this so far? Because I've got way more tips for you here. Yes, everyone's loving it? Let me know. Who wants to hear what the next one is? Who wants to hear what the next step of making sure that you're launching on time is? Okay, awesome. Eleanor is loving it. Yay! Okay, great. So also make sure you set aside some time to do all of your sales and your marketing and all of that stuff, okay? It's going to take a lot of time. You wanna make sure that you have that time set aside and ready to go. Okay, awesome. Also, you wanna have all of your marketing materials ready. That includes your labels, your hang tags, your business cards, maybe any like promotional flyers that you need, swatch cards, if you're doing prints, that you have beautiful swatches of the prints that people can see what's available. All of that stuff needs to be ready to go before you launch, okay? Also, you're going to want to probably schedule some events. I like to schedule events around the launch. This could be a launch party, it could be pop-ups, it could be a market, it could be trunk shows. You could even do a crowdfunding campaign launch, all of that stuff, okay? So you wanna make sure you schedule all of these events around the launch so that, again, day one of the launch is the biggest push, that you get the most sales on day one, okay? Facebook ads, you're probably gonna wanna do some Facebook ads if your budget allots. So I would have those ready to go also before you launch. You don't wanna be struggling to figure out which Facebook ads you're gonna do after you've already launched your website, okay? You wanna have all of that ready to go, ready to post before you actually launch. And then last but not least, you're also gonna wanna have all of your PR planned, whether you're reaching out to influencers, celebrities, bloggers. You wanna get people to start wearing your product and then posting about it on day one, okay? So all of that needs to be ready to go. That is a really long list. All of that needs to be ready to go before you actually launch. And now if you're planning to sell wholesale to retailers, you also have to have a couple of other things ready to go. You also have to have your list of boutiques and the buyers that you're going to approach. You need to have your buyer's pack ready to go. That includes your line sheet, order forms, terms, all of that stuff. Sales order forms so that buyers can take orders. And you might even want to have a wholesale login on your website or use a third-party website so that retailers can actually purchase from you online. I really, really highly suggest that. So that's a ton of things that you're going to need before you actually launch. So make sure you go grab the checklist, before you launch checklist on fashionninjawarrior.com/launch so that you have all of this valuable information, okay? Jeremy wants to know, what does a typical Facebook ad run? Money-wise, you're asking, Jeremy? I think that's what you're asking. Financially, you can spend $200 or you could spend $2,000. It's really up to what your budget allots. The more money you can spend, the better, definitely. Okay, so I get this question a lot. Can you launch more than once? And the answer to that question is yes. Believe it or not, you can actually launch more than once. There's a couple of different ways you can do that. So the first is to do a soft launch and then a real launch. So a lot of times a soft launch is really when you are kind of doing a test, right? You're opening up your line or your shop to only a select few people to kind of get their feedback, get their response, and test the market a little bit and see if people are even wanting what it is you have to sell. So I have a client right now, this is a perfect example. They wanted to do a dress line. When they realized they were going to have to invest $50,000 to do this dress line, they decided, okay, maybe we should take a step back. Maybe we should do kind of a soft launch or do a test first. So instead of creating a full-blown line, what they're going to do is create a couple of dresses. The two girls are going to literally wear the dresses themselves and start to see the reaction and start to tell people a little bit about it that way and start to get some feedback before jumping in and diving in and doing $50,000 on an entire line without even knowing if their idea is going to sell. So a lot of people do it that way. You could also do a separate launch for different products. So let's say you are going to start out making a women's wear line, and then eventually down the line you want to launch men's, or you want to launch kids, or you're going to launch handbags, right? So if you introduced a whole totally new product category, sure, do another launch. Why not? No one says you can't, right? So take advantage of it and do it is what I say. Keep in mind, a lot of this is going to depend on your channels of distribution. And if you need some help with that, go back and watch Facebook Live episode number 35, where we talked about the channels of distribution and which ones are really right for your brand and your line, okay? Eleanor asks, how do I build interest in social media in a website and blog before I launch my line? So Eleanor, you're part of our Fashion Startup Intensive course, and I talk all about that in class number 3, Mastering Digital Marketing. It's really all about digital marketing. A lot of it includes blogging, social media, email marketing, all of that stuff. And really the goal at the end of the day is to focus on your target customer and their lifestyle, not your product. So you don't want to make it about your line and about your product. You want to make it about them and their lifestyle and how this is going to fit into their lifestyle and help their lifestyle. And I go into that really, really deep in class number 3, Mastering Digital Marketing. So anyone can take that course. It's available at any time. It's also part of our master course called the Fashion Startup Intensive. Great question. Okay, so for example, let's say you're doing a fall line. You might want to launch, well, if you're going to, let's say you're going to do wholesale and retail, you might want to launch your line in February, start taking your orders from buyers, start pre-selling on your website or doing a crowdfunding campaign, etc. That way by like August, you're ready to actually ship, and that's actually the fall season. Make sense? But let's say you're only doing retail and you're not pre-selling, you'll probably want to launch your fall line in August because it's closer to the actual selling season. That way you already have your inventory, you already have production done, so you don't need the extra time to do those things. So then you can actually launch in the actual season that you're selling. Does that make sense? Or the other side of it is that you could do a soft launch of your fall line in February, get some feedback, see what people are saying, then you actually have time to tweak things, and then you can do the real launch in August. So there's many different ways to go about it, and there's many different strategies as far as timing is concerned. And again, if you need more help on timing, go back and watch Facebook Live episode 37, where we talked about how long it really takes to start a fashion line and the whole timing of it all. So that's going to help you with that. So now let me give you my 7 tips to make your launch a success, okay? Who wants to hear the 7 tips? Give me a yes, give me an amen, give me a hallelujah, give me a hooray. Like, who wants to hear these 7 amazing tips that are gonna make your launch on day 1 super successful so that you can sell over 100 pieces of style in day 1, even 1,000 pieces of style, right? The sky is the limit. So who wants to hear the 7 tips? Hey, Jenny, how are you? Nice to see you on. Okay, Doreen wants to hear it. I need at least 2 more people to tell me that they want to hear the 7 tips to make your launch a success. And I know the comments are a little delayed on my end, so. Yes, Daniela says, let's do it. Okay, Camille says yes, she's raising her hand. I love it with the little emoji. Okay, so tip number 1. Focus on the benefits, not the product features, okay? This is super, super important, and I hope that you guys can get this in your head and start to change your mindset around, okay? Steve Jobs, when he launched the iPhone, any version of the iPhone, he doesn't talk about how fast the processor is or how much better the camera is on the phone or all this stuff. He talks about what it's going to do for you and your lifestyle, how it's going to make your life easier because now you don't have to carry around an iPod and your phone. You can have your music right on your phone together in one, right? So he's talking about the benefits, not the features. If somebody wants to know the features, That's available. That information is available on the Apple website. You can go and read it at any time, but he's not promoting that during the launch, okay? Another example is the Swiffer. So everyone knows what a Swiffer is, right? So I love Swiffers. A Swiffer, a feature of a Swiffer is that it locks and absorbs all of the dirt, right? It has these pads that you put underneath and they have all this technology, blah, 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 right? Nobody cares. All we really care about is the benefit of the Swiffer is that it saves you time, because now you don't have to use a mop and you don't have to wring it out and get a bucket of water and the old way of cleaning our floors, right? And now you can save time and actually live your life and enjoy your life more. That's what people care about at the end of the day. They don't want to hear about the features of the Swiffer. They want to hear how it's going to save them time cleaning, because nobody probably likes cleaning. Majority of people don't like cleaning. And so it's going to help them have more time to do the things that they do want to do, right? So you guys understand a little bit like the difference between a feature and a benefit. You want to focus on the benefits. You want to focus on them, not on the product itself, right? So that's number one. Number two, get influencers and press on board. You want to start lining them up in advance so that they start talking about your line on your launch day, right? So bloggers, influencers, media, all of that stuff, get interviews lined up, get all of that stuff lined up, get all of the blogs written and ready to go and literally ready to launch on your launch day. And just request everybody to not launch it or post it until your actual launch day, okay? Number three is to build suspense. Okay, I was building suspense right there. Did you like it? Okay, so Star Wars. Star Wars does not wait until the day before the movie launches to tell you about it. They're telling you about it 6 to 9 months in advance. Why? Because they want that movie theater packed out and filled to the brim when that movie launches, okay? It's the same idea with your line. You want to be promoting it now, okay? I think on opening day, they sold over $200 million worth of tickets, and it was like the second highest opening day of all time or something ridiculous, right? So it's the same idea here. You want to start promoting on social media, on your blog, on your website, all of that stuff now. Don't wait until you have a product, because nobody wants to see the product anyway. They want to see the lifestyle. They want to see the benefits, not the features, right? So start promoting all of that stuff now. Okay. Number 4, turn your launch into an event. We kind of talked about this already. Plan a launch party, plan a pop-up shop, plan a crowdfunding campaign party where you post the video of the crowdfunding campaign and everybody watches it, and then people can donate right on the spot. You know, include a fashion show. Do something that's fun where you can sell or at least pre-sell your line and get the hype and the buzz going. Think about if you had a room packed of 100 people and you invited some influencers and you invited some press and you had all these people talking about your line on the launch day and posting it on social media. How awesome would that be? How much momentum would you have in your business if that happened on day 1 of your launch, right? Make sense? Of course it does. Okay, number 5, offer launch discounts and incentives. Give people a reason why they should buy right away, right? 10% off, 2 for the same price, you know, whatever it is. Give some kind of a launch discount so that people are more willing to buy it up front, because if they get excited about it, they're gonna start posting, they're gonna start telling their friends, and everybody else is gonna get on board really, really fast, okay? So definitely offer some kind of discount or incentive for people to purchase right away. Okay, number 6, we have 2 more to go. Number 6 is plan, plan, plan. I'm a big proponent of planning. Those who know me, I'm like Miss Planner. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. That's my little slogan. So definitely I'm all about planning, and keep in mind that if the sales start really coming in, you might have to hire part-time help to help you take care of all the orders or to help you pack and ship stuff out if you're literally doing all of that yourself. So just be prepared ahead of time. You don't want to be scrambling with all these orders and not be able to ship them out on time and then have angry customers at the end, right? So just plan for like best case scenario, what would happen? Who could you get to help you, right? And then number 7, last but not least, gather feedback after the launch and use it for the future. Use it to either tweak your samples before you do your production if you're launching and pre-selling the line, or if you're launching and you're selling the line at the same time, use it for next season. You know, tweak your samples, use customers' feedback, okay? Whatever the customers want is what you need to give them, okay? At the end of the day, if nobody likes that color purple that you're in love with and nobody's buying it, forget it. Throw it out the window and get a color that sells, like blue, which always sells to everybody everywhere, right? So at the end of the day, we all are designers, we're very creative, we have these grand ideas in our head of what we think people should wear, but at the end of the day, they're the ones with the money, they're the ones that are making the buying decisions. So if they want to see a short sleeve, make it a short sleeve. If they want to see the dress 2 inches longer, maybe you should make it 2 inches longer. I'm not saying please everyone, because you possibly can't please everyone, but if a lot of people are requesting the same thing, there's probably a reason. So keep that in mind and use it to your advantage, because your line will sell so much more if you just give people what it is that they want. So awesome, Danny, so excited. So those are the 7 tips to make your launch a huge success. Again, if you want to grab the checklist for free, go to fashionangelwarrior.com/launch and you can download our before you launch checklist. It's awesome. It has all of this great information on it, and it's for all of you guys. Also, I want to announce that we're doing a free masterclass tomorrow. If you haven't signed up, there are still limited spaces left. It's filling up pretty fast. So definitely sign up for that. It's called the Top 14 Mistakes Designers Make and How to Avoid Them. There is a link on Instagram in the bio. There's a link on Facebook. So sign up for that. Anyone interested in coming on our next fashion tour in New York City, the next one is April 19th. The March one is already sold out. Unfortunately, it did sell out very, very fast. So make sure you sign up for the April 19th one before that one sells out, because these ones are going like hotcakes, okay? Also, we just got back from LA. We had an awesome time. I networked with so many people. It was amazing. And we're also going to be in Dallas next month. So if you are in Dallas or in the Texas area, we're going to go to the DG Expo. We'll be exhibiting there and speaking there. So definitely sign up for the DG Expo. I believe the website is dgexpo.net. You can attend for free, and I'll see you there. I would love to meet some of you. Doreen wants to know, would this go for an accessory line also? Yes, it applies to an accessory line. It pretty much applies to any product type of line, and to a certain degree, any service-based business, because I have a service-based business and I did a lot of these things when I launched and when I launched new services. So yes, it applies to a lot of things, but that's a great question. Thank you. Okay, so that's it, guys. Next week, our Facebook Live topic will be planning your production, what to cut, how to know what to cut, how to properly plan for production, and all of that stuff. So stay tuned next week, Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't forget that all of the lives are recorded and they're available on our Facebook group, The Fearless Fashionpreneur. So if you're on Instagram, this video will be deleted at the end of this broadcast. However, you can hop on over to Facebook and watch all of the recordings there for free. So it's a ton of great information, guys. Definitely take advantage of it. You don't want to miss out on it. Danny wants to know, did you do any drop shipping before your launch? No, I didn't, Danny. I didn't need to. I did all of the shipping and everything myself. So hopefully that helps you. And I did all my inventory ahead of time too, so. All right, guys, I love you all. Thank you for joining me tonight, and I'll see you next week.